you wanted to protect your daughter. Obviously, you know, she's only like what, 4 at the time?
Yeah.
So you don't want to put too much on her. They're old enough to understand. How can they do it in a way that lets you as the mom grieve, but also like, what was your balance with that? Because I can only imagine. For me, it happened really early on again, and I didn't have kids yet. So I just focused on me and my husband. And I went offline on social media. I wanted to grieve in private, and no one knew about it till I was ready to tell my closest friends. For you, it was kind of different. So with your daughter, like, what was that like for you? You told me that you took a little bit of time on your own, but how did you kind of tell her in the end?
Yeah, so I gave it about a week, I think. And then I was like, okay, my belly's going to start going down. Things are going to start to change. I need to tell her. She was really obviously so super excited to be a big sister. And especially she had cousins, you know, so her cousin had a younger sibling. And she's always been that type that loves to have kids and people around and stuff. So I think for me, the hardest thing was sharing it with her. Because for me, seeing my part of me, which is Sophia, my heart, break down and cry for, you know, something she doesn't quite understand yet. She's so young. That was the toughest thing for me. And I think also the tough part was having to grieve, but also having to put a smile on my face and having to make pancakes in the morning for her. Like the next morning, literally, my eyes are swollen, my body is grieving and also going through, you know, healing. And I'm there making pancakes for Sophia, pretending everything is okay because I was not ready yet to tell her. So we made a plan, me and my husband, that we would do a trip to Legoland for the weekend. We'd stay there the night. We would break the news to her that morning and try to make it make sense for her as much as we thought we could. She also goes, you know, follows our belief and believes in angels and, you know, heaven and things like that. So we told her in the car just before heading to Legoland that baby boy was not ready to join us yet and that he was going up to be with the angels.
That's beautiful. I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep triggering you. We're like triggering each other. But really, like, this is the reality.
Yeah, it's
so
the
many of us have to
reality.
do.
And I want to show people, and I want to show women out there and many mothers that are going through this right now, because so many are. And I know this can trigger a lot of women. This is why it's hard for women to share, which is okay, because every woman is so different. And there's no right or wrong way of grieving. There's no right or wrong way of, you know, sharing your loss. For me, it was important to share my loss because I was sharing my pregnancy on social media and on Instagram. So I was like, I cannot just disappear. And, you know, for me, it was connecting with so many women. And when I shared that loss on Instagram, it beautifully opened up a huge community of women just reaching out and mothers that have gone through this. And it helped me realize that I'm not alone. And I knew I wasn't alone, but you didn't realize how many women have gone through this or are going through it or have gone through something even worse. And that makes you also be grateful for so many things that you're like, I'm so grateful that it's not worse than this, or that, not to diminish like how terrible it was. Like it was so traumatic to go through that. It still is. It still triggers every now and then, you know. But it's so important for me to share that, and I reached out to so many women that helped me and helped them. And, you know, once I told Sophia, of course, she cried a lot, but it also showed me how strong she is and how resilient she is. And then once I shared it with her, it helped me grieve a little bit better. Yeah. And I felt like weight was lifted off my shoulder. Like, okay, now I'm done this next step, and now we can move together and progress from here. And, you know, I kept showing her these books that would help, or like, you know, angels, and we can always talk to baby boy and things like that. And he's just not ready yet, you know, and he will come when time is ready, or she will come when the time is ready, you know. So
I think it's beautiful to find the right words to explain to someone young, like which you've done so nicely, because that's what I wanted you to kind of, you know, portray. Is I think a lot of people don't know how to share that, but there are ways to do it, and just, you know, be soft about it. Don't overstress about it, but like, you know, they deserve to know.
100%. And even like ways, like maybe you can do something with them that will help them make sense even more. Like maybe, you know, plant a little plant for the baby, or whatever it is, draw something with them that, you know, will help with their emotion. Or you will find your way. You will find a way to tell them that will make sense to you and to them, but to make sure to tell them in a way that for them to help them have some closure. Because if you just say, okay, we lost the baby and that's it, they'll be very confused, and then it will be very hard on them. Yeah. And then they'll think, what is it that they did? Or why don't they get the baby, you know? So I made sure to tell her that this wasn't her fault at all. This has nothing to do with her, you know? Nothing to do with mama. The baby was just not ready, and we'll go with the angels and he'll come back when he is, you know? So it didn't make sense completely. Obviously, she's only 4, but it helped her. Definitely. And then every now and then she would bring it up, and then she would move on, you know? So it helped her.